In the heart of a tranquil village, nestled amidst rolling green hills, the warm sun cast its golden rays upon the humble abode of Emeka and Amaka. Their love flourished like the vibrant flowers that adorned their doorstep, filling their home with laughter and joy. However, the serenity of their lives was soon to be disrupted by the arrival of a new presence, Emeka's mother, Nneka. As she crossed the threshold into their home, the air seemed to chill with her icy demeanor. Nneka's piercing gaze swept over Amaka, her disapproval palpable even before she uttered a word. Amaka, with her gentle smile and kind heart, extended a warm welcome to her mother-in-law, hoping to win her favor. Yet Nneka's response was curt and critical, finding fault in every aspect of Amaka's existence, from the way she cooked to the way she dressed. Despite Amaka's earnest attempts to please her mother-in-law, Nneka's disdain only seemed to deepen with each passing day. Emeka, torn between his love for his wife and his sense of duty to his mother, found himself caught in the middle of their escalating tension. The once harmonious atmosphere in their home became tinged with unease as Nneka's presence cast a shadow over their happiness. Amaka, with her resilient spirit, tried to maintain her composure in the face of her mother-in-law's relentless criticism, but each jab pierced her heart like a dagger. As the days turned into weeks, the rift between Nneka and Amaka widened, threatening to tear apart the fabric of their family. Emeka struggled to find a solution, his heart heavy with the weight of their discord. Little did he know that their journey towards reconciliation would soon begin with a quest for wisdom from the village elder. The sun hung low in the sky as Emeka made his way through the winding streets of the village, his mind heavy with worry. He had confided in a close friend about the escalating conflict at home, and it was his friend who had suggested seeking advice from the village elder. The village elder was known for her wisdom and compassion, her counsels sought by all who faced hardship or strife. As Emeka approached her humble dwelling, he felt a glimmer of hope flicker within him. Perhaps she would have the answers he so desperately sought. Emeka knocked gently on the door, his heart pounding in his chest as he waited for a response. Moments later, the door creaked open, revealing the kindly face of the village elder. She welcomed Emeka inside, her eyes filled with warmth and understanding. Seated across from the elder, Emeka poured out his heart, recounting the turmoil that had befallen his family since his mother's arrival. The elder listened intently, nodding in understanding as Emeka spoke. When he had finished, the elder leaned forward, her expression thoughtful. "I have heard tales of a powerful sage who dwells deep within the forest," she said. "It is said that he possesses the ability to dispel even the darkest of curses. Perhaps he can help you mend the rift between your wife and your mother." Emeka's heart leaped with hope at the elder's words. Could this sage truly hold the key to restoring peace in his home? With gratitude in his heart, Emeka bid farewell to the village elder and set out on a journey into the heart of the forest, determined to seek out the sage and ask for his guidance. The forest loomed dark and foreboding as Emeka made his way along the winding path, his footsteps echoing in the silence. The canopy overhead cast dappled shadows on the forest floor, and the air was heavy with the scent of earth and moss. After what felt like hours of walking, Emeka finally came upon a clearing, where a humble cottage stood nestled among the trees. Smoke curled lazily from the chimney, and the sound of birdsong filled the air. Heart pounding with anticipation, Emeka approached the cottage and knocked on the door. Moments later, it swung open to reveal the sage, a tall figure with a long beard and wise eyes that seemed to hold the secrets of the universe. The sage welcomed Emeka with a kind smile, inviting him inside to share his tale. As Emeka recounted the turmoil that had befallen his family, the sage listened intently, his expression grave. When Emeka had finished speaking, the sage nodded thoughtfully. "I have heard of your plight," he said, "and I believe I may have a solution, but first you must prove yourself worthy of my assistance." Emeka's heart sank at the sage's words. What test would he have to undergo to earn the sage's help? But the sage simply smiled and handed Emeka a small vial filled with a shimmering liquid. "This potion has the power to reveal the true nature of those who consume it," the sage explained. "Give it to your mother, and her wickedness will be laid bare for all to see." With a sense of determination burning in his chest, Emeka accepted the vial from the sage, grateful for the chance to set things right. With the sage's words ringing in his ears, he bid farewell and set out on the journey back to his village, his heart filled with hope for the future. Emeka's footsteps echoed through the dense forest as he made his way back along the winding path, the vial containing the sage's potion clutched tightly in his hand. The canopy overhead cast shifting patterns of light and shadow upon the forest floor, and the air was alive with the sounds of nature. As he walked, Emeka's mind raced with thoughts of the sage's words and the task that lay ahead. He knew the portion had the key to revealing his mother's true nature, but he couldn't shake the sense of unease that gnawed at him. What would happen once Neka's wickedness was laid bare for all to see? Despite his doubts, Emeka pressed on, guided by a deep sense of determination to set things right for his family. Hours passed as he journeyed through the forest, the path winding ever onwards towards home. Finally, as the first light of dawn began to paint the sky in shades of pink and gold, Emeka emerged from the forest and into the familiar surroundings of his village. With a renewed sense of purpose, he quickened his pace, his heart pounding with anticipation as he approached his home. As he stepped through the doorway, he was greeted by the sight of his mother, Neka, seated at the table, her expression as stern and disapproving as ever. Amaka stood nearby, her eyes filled with worry as she watched her husband's return. Without hesitation, Emeka approached Neka, the vial containing the sage's potion held out before him. "Mother," he said, his voice steady despite the nervous fluttering in his stomach, "I have something for you." Eneka's gaze flickered towards the vial, her brow furrowing in confusion. "What is it?" she asked, her tone tinged with suspicion. "It's a gift from the sage," Emeka replied, his voice filled with quiet determination. "He said it has the power to reveal the true nature of those who consume it." Neka's eyes widened in surprise, and for a moment Emeka thought he saw a flicker of fear cross her features. But then, with a scoff of disbelief, she pushed the vial away. "I have no need for such nonsense," she said, her voice dripping with scorn. "You will do well not to listen to the sage's voice, my son," she continued, her tone turning icy. "This potion will only bring trouble." But Emeka stood firm, his resolve unwavering. With a sense of purpose burning in his chest, "Please, mother," he said, his voice pleading, "I only want what's best for our family." Neka hesitated, her gaze flickering between her son and the vial before her. And then, with a resigned sigh, she reached out and took it in her trembling hand. As she raised the vial to her lips, a sense of anticipation hung heavy in the air. Emeka held his breath, his heart pounding in his chest as he waited for the potion to take effect. And then, in an instant, it was done. Neka's eyes widened in shock as the potion's magic took hold, and her true nature was laid bare for all to see. Neka's hands trembled as she set the vial down on the table, her eyes wide with disbelief. All around her, the room seemed to spin, and she felt as though the ground had been pulled out from beneath her feet. For years she had prided herself on her sharp tongue and quick wit, using them as weapons to keep those around her in line. But now, faced with the harsh reality of her own cruelty, she was forced to confront the consequences of her actions. As the realization washed over her, Neka felt a wave of guilt and remorse flood her senses. She looked around the room, her gaze lingering on her daughter-in-law, Amaka, whose eyes were filled with a mixture of sadness and understanding. I'm so sorry," Neka whispered, her voice barely more than a hoarse whisper. "I never meant to hurt you." Amaka's expression softened at her mother-in-law's words, and she reached out a hand in a gesture of forgiveness. "It's okay, mother," she said, her voice gentle. "We all make mistakes." Emeka watched the exchange with a mixture of relief and gratitude, his heart overflowing with love for both his wife and mother. In that moment, he realized that the potion had done more than reveal Eneka's true nature. It had opened the door to healing and reconciliation. With tears in his eyes, Emeka stepped forward and enveloped both women in a warm embrace, feeling the weight of their shared burden lifting from his shoulders. And as they stood together in the embrace of love and forgiveness, Emeka knew that their journey towards redemption had only just begun. In the days that followed, a sense of peace settled over Emeka and Amaka's home as Neka worked tirelessly to make amends for her past mistakes. Gone were the harsh words and bitter criticisms, replaced instead with kindness and understanding. Amaka, her heart softened by her mother-in-law's newfound humility, welcomed the change with open arms. She found herself growing closer to Neka with each passing day, their shared experiences forging a bond that was stronger than ever before. Emeka too felt a sense of relief at the transformation that had taken place within his family. No longer caught in the middle of their constant bickering, he was free to enjoy the simple pleasures of life with his wife and mother, by his side. But despite the newfound harmony in their home, Emeka couldn't shake the feeling that there was still more work to be done. The sage's potion may have revealed Neka's true nature, but it had done little to address the underlying issues that had caused their family's strife in the first place. With a sense of determination burning in his chest, Emeka knew that he had to seek out the sage once more to ask for his guidance in finding a lasting solution to their problems. And so, one evening, as the sun dipped low in the sky and the first stars began to twinkle overhead, Emeka set out once more into the forest, his heart filled with hope for the future. The forest stretched out before Emeka like a vast, dark labyrinth, its tangled undergrowth and towering trees shrouded in shadows. But Emeka pressed on, guided by the light of the moon and the warmth of his own determination. As he journeyed deeper into the heart of the forest, memories of his past encounters with the sage flooded his mind. He remembered the sage's wise counsel and the hope that had filled him upon receiving the potion. But now, as he made his way back to the sage's cottage, Emeka's heart was heavy with uncertainty. He knew that the road ahead would not be easy, but he was determined to see it through to the end. Hours passed as Emeka trekked through the dense undergrowth, the sounds of the forest echoing in his ears. But finally, just as the first light of dawn began to paint the sky in shades of pink and gold, he emerged into a small clearing bathed in the soft glow of morning. At its center stood the sage's cottage, a beacon of warmth and light amidst the gathering darkness. With a sense of relief, Emeka quickened his pace, his heart pounding with anticipation as he approached the cottage door. He knocked softly, the sound echoing in the stillness of the morning, and waited with bated breath for a response. Moments later, the door swung open, revealing the sage standing before him, his wise eyes filled with warmth and understanding. "Welcome back, my son," the sage said, his voice resonating with wisdom. "I have been expecting you." Emeka nodded, his throat tight with emotion. "I have come to seek your guidance once more," he said, his voice steady despite the nervous fluttering in his stomach. "I need to know how to mend the rift between my wife and my mother." The sage regarded Emeka thoughtfully for a moment, before nodding in understanding. "Come," he said, gesturing for Emeka to enter the cottage. "Sit with me, and together we shall find a way to heal your family's wounds." And so, as the sun rose high in the sky and the birds sang in the trees, Emeka and the sage sat together in quiet contemplation, their hearts filled with hope for the future. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, as Emeka and the sage worked tirelessly to mend the rift between Emeka's wife Amaka and his mother Neka. Together, they explored the depths of their shared pain and sorrow, seeking to understand the root cause of their family's strife. Slowly but surely, Emeka began to see a change in his home. The once tense atmosphere softened, replaced instead with laughter and love. Neka's heart, once hardened by bitterness and resentment, began to thaw in the warmth of her daughter-in-law's forgiveness. Amaka too found herself growing closer to her mother-in-law with each passing day, her heart overflowing with gratitude for the chance to rebuild their relationship. Together, they worked side by side in the kitchen, sharing stories and laughter as they prepared meals for their family. And as the months passed, the villagers began to take notice of the change that had come over Emeka and his family. Gone were the whispers of discord and strife, replaced instead with words of praise and admiration for their newfound harmony. But as the seasons turned and the years passed, Emeka and his family continued to thrive in the warm embrace of love and forgiveness. Neka, once a bitter and resentful woman, had been transformed by the power of forgiveness, her heart overflowing with compassion and kindness. Amaka too had grown stronger in the face of adversity, her gentle spirit tempered by the trials they had overcome together. Together, they had weathered the storms of life, emerging stronger and more resilient than ever before. And as they looked towards the future, Emeka knew that their journey was far from over. There would be challenges ahead, trials to overcome and obstacles to face. But with the love of his family by his side, he was confident that they would prevail. And so, as the sun set on another day in their peaceful village, Emeka and his family gathered together in the warmth of their home, their hearts filled with gratitude for the blessings they had been given. For in the end, they knew that it was not the trials they had faced that defined them, but the love and forgiveness that had brought them through. And as long as they had each other, they knew that they could weather any storm that came their way. As the years passed, the tale of Emeka and his family became a beloved story in the village. passed down from generation to generation as a reminder of the power of forgiveness and redemption. In every corner of the village, their legacy lived on, in the laughter of children playing in the streets, in the warm embrace of neighbors helping one another in times of need, and in the quiet moments of reflection beneath the shade of ancient trees. And though Emeka and his family had long since passed into memory, their spirit lived on in the hearts of those who had known them. For theirs was a legacy of love, a testament to the enduring power of forgiveness and the strength of the human spirit. And so, as the sun set on another day in their peaceful village, the people gathered together to share stories of days gone by, their voices rising in song and laughter as they celebrated the legacy of Emeka and his family. For in the end, they knew that it was love that bound them together, love that had guided them through the darkest of times, and love that would carry them into the future, forever and always. If you like this video, subscribe, share, and like this video for more content. See you in the next video.